JG, who compulsively masturbated after checking his automatic bot-managed cryptocurrency finances, went with his wheelchair for obese people to the balcony of his 100 square feet apartment when he came across the cat of his neighbors, Susie and Laura. He thought it would be a nice time to smoke some weed. He tried to chase the cat away with one of the many boxes that were piled up with soy milk until he finally succeeded. He hadn't slept well lately because the baby, born from an artificial uterus since his neighbors were sterile even though they were in their 20s, had been crying for months. JG couldn't remember when it was the last time he left his apartment. Perhaps months, or even years. Food was delivered directly to his door. Clothes, supplies, everything was delivered by drones. He didn't have to leave the house for anything. The greatest interaction he had with humans was through the internet by playing video games with them. By the time he light up his joint, he could hear a self-driven car with its speakers saying,
"Please, stay at home. It is for your own safety. Going out is only allowed for those with permission from the district's manager. Please, stay at home. It is for your own safety. Going out is only allowed for those with permission from the district's manager. Please, stay at home. It is for your own safety."
Leaving home was extremely inconvenient due to a pandemic that had lasted for almost a decade. There were martial law and heavy surveillance on the streets with cameras and drones. The fine for going out without permission was high if one left without a mask, and there was also the risk of being arrested in case of recidivism. He could barely catch a glimpse of sunlight due to the high incidence of shadows by the nearby buildings. At age 22, he was already obese, diabetic, hypertensive, had testosterone deficiency, muscle weakness, suffered from lack of vitamin D, depression, anxiety disorder, among other less serious problems. The vast majority of the population suffered from the same health problems, although few died from the pandemic. He would often think of suicide. He has never been with a woman. Never had any sort of relationship nor physical engagement. A virgin. The only woman that he had in his life was his mother, and she was in a mental institution now. His father disappeared when he was still a toddler. The homosexual couple would often spend the whole day watching TV as long as they were not having an argument or having sex. They would consume and exhaust every show, series, or movie that they could get their hands into. They spent little time with their baby. A government-paid nanny would do almost all of the work. Women, in general, were healthier than men due to the huge government spending on women to repair years of alleged misogynist and patriarchal laws, as they liked to emphasize, gaining free medical care at home, among many other benefits such as universal income strictly for women. Due to high male suicide, the world population was composed of 70% women and 30% men. Around 80% of women were homosexual. The overuse of medication by both men and women made them virtually sterile, and the others that resisted were made sterile by government policies under the slogan of population control. All newborn humans were made in artificial wombs, and since the majority of couples nowadays are homosexuals, the majority of them opted for having girls, as one could choose many custom characteristics of their baby. Due to the population control policy, it was only allowed one child per couple. The main goal was to reduce the population to around 500 million people. There were no more wars because the world had been unified under a large world government based on the UN, with rotating leaders of authorities from the Arab world, the United States, the European Union, Russia, and China. Several languages died in the process, as well as religions, which were now unified into some sort of hippie culture. This religion's main motto was,
"Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature."
JG thought to himself,
Maybe I am a cancer to this planet. What a horrible piece of shit I am. The mere fact of me being a man already makes me evil. I don't do anything useful other than spend a whole day at home playing video games, masturbating, and smoking weed. I can't get in a relationship with a woman. All women that I talk to reject me or simply ignore me.
He finished smoking his joint, took a pill of clonazepam, and returned to his computer. The combined effect of weed and clonazepam were enough to make him feel a little less miserable. A week later he intentionally took too much clonazepam mixed with weed and thus committed suicide. The year was 2030.